We are live on YouTube on Wednesday Night Live. It's Wednesday Night Live. Live on TikTok, live on YouTube. Let's see who jumps first here on the talk. We always got a fucking race to see who's going to be first on the talk. Shay, Mr. Prophet is first. Thank you. Shaney Rudder. Rainbow Love 505. Jovi the Bird. Ledge 62. Electrified Corpse. Mr. Atheist. What's up, buddy? Cecilia Thompson. Chriskins. Drem 1208. Fucking Supa. Fucking Supa. Join. I love it. Soul Invictus 7. Thanks for joining, people. It's the non-crazy cat lady. You made it. You're still awake. All aboard! All right, let's get the train rolling. Got some people on board. Got a few things to talk about. I was absolutely shocked and stunned. Shocked and stunned by the way certain commenters excused the Catholic Church after I did the video on the residential schools, calling out the church and telling them it's time to, it's really time for nations to step up and punish the Catholic Church for doing the shit that they do. Got immediately blocked on the ICE agents. Live for saying hi in Spanish. Hola. Live for saying hi in Spanish. You got blocked for saying hi in Spanish on a live on TikTok. Really outweigh the 95% good that the church does. 95% good things for anybody. It's a completely of countless children, thousands of children all over the world. Ireland, Scotland, people are chiming in from there's bodies there. The church hasn't done enough good to outweigh one pedophile priest, in my opinion. I can't believe that people get in the fucking comment section and actually like excuse that kind of thing. It's the way people react to a video like that, where they're going to come across and excuse the Catholic Church because there's so much good. They do so much good. The fucking hospitals are run for profit, not for altruism. Catholic hospitals aren't like a gift of charity to the community. What the fuck is wrong with people? Gazrat, well, and thank you. I know you might fall asleep, baby. That's okay. It's really late there. Fragger Perks. Thanks for joining. Goblin Hunter 1780. Mr. Antonio Garza 2. John's the creator. That's right. It's Nobody 1959. Zully. Sierra 0683. John Overbeck. Mr. Antonio Garza 2. Thanks for joining, everybody. I do have it up on YouTube. I can't see the comments again. I don't know why. But thanks for joining. If you're on YouTube, come over to TikTok if you want to get your comments read. I don't know what else to tell you. You can watch on YouTube, but you can't talk to me anyway. 22 Rhonda 20. What's up, Rhonda? Thanks for being here. Another guy told me that there were always cemeteries. They're going to prove that there were always cemeteries, and there's nothing surreptitious about it. What the fuck, man? Is that normal for a school to have cemeteries behind it that's full of the kids that they're supposed to take care of? What the fuck? Why would even people comment about that, man? It's unthinkable to me. If you still support the Catholic Church, if you go and give your money, if you go and talk this kind of apologetics, these words, these justifications, this excusing of the behavior of the Catholic Church, if you still go to church and give them your money, you are fucking complicit in all this bullshit. You gotta fucking quit. I recall one of the greatest videos of Christopher Hitchens demanding apologies from the church. Yeah, they haven't even apologized. The Pope has yet to apologize for that shit. Never mind going up and doing shit. Yeah, it was a mass grave, not a cemetery. Yeah, cemeteries have headstones. They're welcome. People from the public can go. You can see your people. You can say goodbye. You can meditate over the grave, say whatever. No, unmarked graves behind a residential school aren't a cemetery. And even if they were, how does that make it right? Kids just don't die en masse and need buried at a cemetery at their fucking school. It doesn't make it any better, even if it was a cemetery. Schools don't have cemeteries for the kids that they kill. British Kid, what's up, man? 3 Ds on it, British Kid. William Watson, 37. Love you, man. Thanks for joining. What else is going on? What do people got to talk about? I had a couple travel days. I drove to North Carolina yesterday. Polymath is here from Chicago. Hello from Chicago. What's my point? I drove to North Carolina yesterday and flew back today. It's like a 24-hour, like, wow. So my head's kind of buzzing. So help me out with some topics if you got anything you want to talk about. I always look at Reddit and figure out some shit to talk about. My thoughts on the Satanic Temple. I like the Satanic Temple. I don't have any problem with those guys, what they do. Louisville, just drove through Louisville. Nice looking little city. But yeah, the Satanic Temple getting their displays put up alongside Christian displays in public buildings. It's a genius gimmick. It's atheism with a bit. I love those guys. Keisha Hendricks, there you assist 7. Hey, baby. Mackley Street. Beloved tree gardener. Are you a beloved tree gardener? Are you a gardener of beloved trees? That's a cool handle. Being a horticulturist myself, that's a handle that's close to my heart. Darav 18. Glenn Buckner. Shonuk. Corey LJ. What's up, dude? Scooby Gobbler. You gobbling Scooby snacks? Jason Panda Phillips joined. Thanks everybody for coming on board. We do this every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. That's in the Central Time Zone, 9 o'clock on the East Coast. If you have a mind to put it on your calendar so you can catch us every week, we do it by schedule here. And Sunday mornings at 10:30 Central, 11:30 on the East Coast. Those are my 2 normal lives. And I do once in a while reach out to one of our fellow atheist creators or person of interest and have them do a dual live. And last Friday did a dual live with Apostate Aladdin, which was great. If you haven't followed that guy, go follow him. He'll tell you all about Islam and why it's just as much bullshit as the rest of religions. Darkside asks, do you drink bourbon? I do drink bourbon. When I drink, I don't drink a lot. I'm not a big drinker. But when I do, I prefer bourbon or scotch. A nice single malt scotch is actually my go-to, but I do enjoy bourbon. And I drive back and forth through Kentucky to North Carolina, and I see that whiskey trail. There's like a bourbon trail. You can go to do some. I'm gonna do that one time. I'm gonna stop and do one of them. If I had to pick my favorite Abrahamic religion, what would you choose if you had to? That's ugly, man. I think somebody asked that last time, and I guess I got to pick Judaism because most of them are atheists. Good morning, Richard Hitchens. It's already tomorrow in Australia, isn't it, my friend? Big Dick Hitchens, thanks for joining us. No, you know what? I haven't paid attention to SCOTUS in a couple of weeks. Honestly, I do tend to look at what are they up to now. Do you got something for us? Thanks for asking. That's a good question. I should take a look. Yeah, Buffalo Trace. Yeah, I see the sign for that one, man. But there's a whole bunch of whiskey tours you can take down there, and that sounds fun to me. Hello from Portugal. Bom dia. It's nighttime there too, isn't it? Though, yeah, I'm sure. Middle of the night for these people joining us from Europe. I'm always touched when people stay up to join us. Thanks for the follow, Darkside. Gary Tweed, or is it Gary T. Weed? Gary Tweed, highly influenced. Marazine 1. Mental health gardening join. We got a couple gardeners. Tree health. What is it? Tree gardener and Mustavio 65. Mustavio 66. What I think Islam sucks. It's just another shitty fucking guilt and fear-based religion. I'm getting through the Quran right now, chapter 3, really repetitive. I mostly have to hear about how great God is, how merciful He is, how He sees everything. That's like repeated like every other fucking verse. And then there will be a severe chastisement for non-believers. Non-believers, a severe chastisement awaits you. And this is like at the end of every chapter, at the end of every verse. So far, derivative, not special, based on the Bible. What's something about you that you wish more people knew? Something about me that I wish more people knew. Oh, boy, I don't know. I get the idea that people think that all I do is atheism, but I'm a gourmet cook. I like to cook. I like to cook. Yeah, he hates God. Yeah. Born and raised in Alabama, my favorite hobby is telling others I'm atheist. Is that a hobby? That's awesome, dude. You come a lot of black eyes out of that one. But yeah, no, Islam I'm not impressed with. Have you ever been Christian? Yeah, no, I was just Christian by mainline Protestant parents. It wasn't biblical literalism. It wasn't hardcore hell and brimstone kind of fucking things. But my mom was into it. We went every damn week. Hello from Netherlands, one of the greatest atheist countries. Yes, the Netherlands, an awesome, awesome fucking place, man. So jealous you get to live in the Netherlands. It's awful flat there, though, isn't it? They don't call it the Low Countries for no reason at all. You're in mountains there. Oh, I'm sorry, I joined and I'm Christian. All right, Savage Boy, that's all right. You can listen and learn if you want. Are you a train collector? No, I wouldn't say I'm a collector. I just got some toy trains that we mess around with here. That's what faith is. That's right. Ask your pastor. God isn't real. That's what faith is. So, although you dislike them both, do you think Islam is based on Christianity? Um, from what I've learned, Muhammad was very literate in the Bible and Christianity and Judaism. He was very aware of the writings of Judaism and Christianity, and I think he thought that many of those people had fallen away from their religious teachings, and so he brought a New Testament from God, the final testament, as it were, and basically, hammered the idea into people's heads that they should be faithful to this guy. They should be worshiping this guy. They shouldn't have let go the tenets of the old book, the Bible. Those people still should have been. In his mind, they weren't. It seems like what it looks like to me. So yeah, I mean, Islam. No, I mean, he made it. It's not based in Christianity. It's more like Judaism. The children of Ishmael went on and became the Arab people, and his idea was to make a religion for them, right? And I can't help think that he wanted to control them, like he saw religion controlling other societies around him. But it's hard to say it was based on Christianity, but the writings in the Quran are based on the Bible. There's no way around that. Other people have said that, not just me. And like I said, I only started reading it just recently, so we'll find out. Maybe I'll be enlightened a little bit more to tell you more about it. I'm not atheist. I'm agnostic. Okay. So that one. Do you have an OF? What's an OF? Hey, from Florida. What's OF? A link to my OF. Where do you fall on the political spectrum? Nowhere on the political spectrum that we see right now. It's either like ultra left or ultra right, and I'm neither of those. I'm a libertarian. In my center, I think less government is fine with me, but I'm also progressive when it comes to all of the socially progressive tenets that the people on the left hold so dear. So I'd like to see a party that represents all of us. You know what I mean? I'm too old to be. I think the ultra liberals are missing the boat when it comes to all this political correctness. They need to get over that shit, and all that whiny shit is why they can't get anything done, even when their opponents are lunatics. The alternative right and the extreme right and the Christian nationalists on the right, all those people are such a fucking joke that you would think that any other party could get it done, but the left is so fucked up too that they can't even get anything done, and that's part of the reason to me. Everybody takes themselves too seriously, and when you get offended for people that aren't offended, you're on the wrong side of it. So I'm a different kind of a cat when it comes to that politically. From Toronto. Hello from Canada. What's up, runny yolk? Excuse me. I love a runny yolk on an egg. It's the only way to eat it, right? That's where the flavor is, my friends. Nice over medium, slightly over easy egg. I don't as a Christian, but I love hearing others' views. Dark side, you identify as a Christian. Views and or ideas all the same. Yeah. Is there any higher power that you believe in? Life itself, the universe. I mean, all those are more powerful than one human. But yeah, no, I don't believe in any supreme being, any conscious singular entity out there that's greater than us. No, I blame God. There are no mountains in the Netherlands. Yes, he wiped them out. He rubbed them out, man. That's all any religion is about. What? Controlling people. Yeah, that's probably true. Sup Underground. What's up, Mike the Atheist? How you doing, bud? The ultra liberals. The ultra liberals they're not good. I don't think they're ever going to get anything done. As much as I have to vote on that side because I vote against Christian nationalism, and the Republicans are using Christian nationalism as a cudgel against the rest of us, and I can't abide that. And I'm all in favor of every social justice warrior going ahead and getting the justice that they deserve, equal rights. Black Lives Matter. It's all real and necessary. I'm just, I pick and choose, right? From, I'm a liberal with who owns guns. I'm just not one of those super leftist snowflakes. No, I'm not a Trumper. Oh, you're asking Goucher if he's a Trumper? Yeah, who knows? We got a few. The Democratic Party is they're both parties are messed up. They're both two sides of the same shitty coin right now. do I like steak cooked? Medium rare. You can't cook steak any. If you cook steak more than medium rare, you just don't like beef and you shouldn't be eating it. If God revealed himself to you, what would you say? I'd say, where the fuck have you been, man? What the fuck are you doing? What's up, Sergeant Bake? Hi. Are you high? You guys high? I actually got high because I had to drive so far. I've been off the weed for a long time now, but I got high a couple of times the last couple of days just to kind of get through those nasty long ass fucking pieces of the highway down through Indy. If you drive to Indianapolis, man, there's nothing worse in the fucking world than driving from Chicago to Louisville. That stretch of road on Indiana, oh my god, dude. North Korea, what's up? Are you really in North Korea? How do I find that hard to believe that you're able to get in touch with our media from North Korea? Are you pro capital punishment? That's a good question. You know, it makes me uncomfortable, but I'm not really against it. You know what I mean? I'm not really against it. I don't think. I can't. I just can't. Some people just they don't deserve to be let live with some of the crimes that go on. So I gotta say I'm not against it, but I'm not really. I don't know. It's because if you fuck it up, that's ugly. It's an ugly thing to think about. Executing the wrong person. I believe in something, just don't know what. But not all this bullshit religion that we have today. Yeah, you're almost there, buddy. There's no need to believe in anything. How do you feel? Leviticus? Yeah, it's a wacky read, isn't it? Leviticus. Yeah, I mean, Leviticus was ancient Jewish laws, and they need to be read in the context of the society that they were written for. They don't obviously have almost nothing relevant to today. But that's the way that society kept itself together. And it's neat to have a record of it. It really is. What is the new atheism? Was reading a book and saw it mentioned and it wasn't explained. I don't know. All that shit fucking explains me. New atheism is what they refer to as collectively all the people that came out, Sam Harris and Richard Dawkins and Daniel Dennett, the Four Horsemen, and kind of made a thing out of atheism in the last 15 years. Now that thing is kind of waning away. But that's the new atheism. I think the old atheism was just sort of in the closet and under the shift. But I could be wrong. Somebody might have a better explanation than that for that, because that's always kind of confused me about what they really mean by that. And I think that's what they mean. I mean, they mean it came out. The new atheism was people writing books and coming out and explaining why, when that wasn't really a thing 30 years ago, and about 15 years ago it became a thing. We don't have internet in North Korea. How you getting this then, bud? Is it literally the worst drive? Yeah, it is. It's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. And it's like nothing but Jesus billboards too, man. I know you're a Christian, but as soon as you get south of I-80, it's like, hell is real. Call 888 and get answers. Jesus has the answers for you. People will come out and like put the sign on their cornfield, on the one tree at the end of the cornfield. Hell is real. It's not even a billboard. It's just like somebody from the farm going up to put a fucking public service announcement on the highway. Driving from Winnipeg to Calgary. No thanks. We were watching that Black Summer show that's filmed in Canada, and that gives you an idea. Boy, there's some bleak parts. Love Canada. There's some bleak parts in those fucking plateaus, man. I was reading a book on evolution and saw new atheism was mentioned. Yeah. What if I Seventh-day Adventists? What about them? They're smart for being vegetarians, I think. Thanks for the rose, Sergeant Bake. If you get the wrong guy, it's a state ex-citizen citizen, which is absolutely despicable. Yeah, especially if someone has been convicted and they don't really have an argument and they're on, I think they should be able to choose the death penalty, maybe, or agree to it if that's what's been prescribed for them. Rather than a lifetime in prison, sucking up the taxpayers' money. There's nothing new to not believing, but now they can see us because of the internet. I think that's really what the new atheism is. It's just visible atheism with people out there, doing apologetics for the philosophy, whereas you didn't see that before. And then there's like Atheism Plus, which came along with all of this liberal ideas where you have to be a feminist and you have to be LGBTQ plus friendly and you have to be all this stuff kind of took over, which I don't really have an issue with. But if we're talking about the atheist movement, then let's make it about atheism, right? Because the LGBTQ movement isn't about atheism. The feminist movement isn't about atheism. The Black Lives Matter movement, none of those movements are about atheism. Atheism is expected all of a sudden to be about all these other movements, and I don't get that. Thoughts on communism? Yeah, it hasn't worked very much, has it? Except for China. Hard to say communism hasn't worked there. They're poised to become the world leader. Communism, it works good on paper, and it's just, it never thrived for the citizen anywhere, did it? Is there a communist state that made it and all the people are happy? No, it always ends up being authoritarianism. I think it's too easy for it to fall into that. Do not touch signs must be a scary thing to read in Braille. Good one, man. Do not touch signs. Scary thing to read in Braille. Atheists can still have a moral compass. Of course we have. Somebody else, hit me with a comment about, murder is okay if you're an atheist. Hey, all right, buddy, you're an idiot. People who can't get their head around that shit just make me fucking crazy, man. Toot toot. P. Shetty. P.S. Hetty or P. Shetty? What is it? Toot toot, bud. Thanks for being here. Yeah, it works if you're the communist leader. Yeah. Just like capitalism works for the rich and keeps the rich richer and keeps the greedy greedier. Communism works for the authoritarians who are at the head of the bureaucracy. Hello there. Love you back. Hey, love you. Bye, bye, bye. Love you so much for being here. Sophie J000 joined. Thank you. Thanks for the follow too, P. Shetty. Thank you. And we love going live. And we couldn't do it without all of you. I like to thank all the viewers and all the followers every time we do this. It's very to know that so many people are out there and they're able to do that. Marzine wants to see a train. This is the train that I like to run into the dummies. We did a bit where we started a bit where we ran this train down the tracks and smashed into a comment that was so stupid it deserved to be thrown onto the train. So this is the one I use. It's a Santa Fe. I have HO gauge stuff, and so there's the train you asked to see. Too much Richard Dawkins? Yeah, maybe. What topic are we on, if any? I don't know, man. We were just talking about whatever comes into mind. You guys know how I can ramble when I get a question in front of me, so bring it up. I started out talking about the Catholic embarrassment in the residential schools, which I know some of those schools were run by Lutherans or whoever else. It wasn't all Catholic. It was only 75% Catholics, and the government is completely complicit. But you get people on here apologizing at the Catholic Church. Oh, they do so much good that 5% of the evil stuff that goes on is all you guys want us to trade on. Really? How much good could they possibly do that would outweigh dead fucking babies? Jesus. I came out to my grandmother that I believed in evolution, and she scolded you for believing in evolution. See, that's what's so shitty about evangelicalism and fundamentalism in America. It's like this denial of science. What the fuck is wrong with people? You can still believe in God. You can still believe in God if it's that important to you. But we know that evolution happened. We know how old the Earth is. We know that life evolved on the planet without God snapping his fingers and putting two people in the garden. Life is so great without Christianity. Glad I dumped that shit. Yeah, man, isn't it? Here's one for you right there. I know you put the icon up, but yeah, man, and it's free. You don't need to worry about anybody watching when you're having dirty sex. Or smoking weed. There's just, there's no guilt. As long as you're not hurting anybody, baby, it's all good. What about the Mormons? LSD is getting insane. Yeah, fuck the Mormons, man. They need to be taxed, for one thing. They need to get their asses taxed. Oh, you're awake to the sun cult? What's that? Went 8 years to Catholic school. Sorry. LDS. Yeah, no, I know what you meant. LSD, you put right. LSD is getting insane. Woo! Been a long time since I tripped. I told her evolution was more interesting than creationism. You think? And for it. Yeah, of course, I support trans rights. Thanks, Luna Moon. Trans rights, I support gay rights. I support everybody's rights. If you're a human being, you have rights, man. Flat Mars is real. Yeah, it looks flat when I look at it. Thanks, man. Stretch marks. Yeah, tax the churches. I think if they don't show a profit, there's some poor ass churches. You don't need to tax the Free Will Baptist Church on the corner of Farmers Lane and East Buttfuck Drive down in Tennessee, where you know that the people there are barely supporting the pastor, and they're not for profit. You know what I mean? You don't have to tax those churches, but make the real churches actually follow the tax laws. If you're making a profit, or if you endorse a political candidate, you're not a 401 401c3 anymore. You are a taxable for-profit organization. They needed to just fucking take care of it. Why are religion and politics taboo topics nowadays? Nowadays, I don't feel like they are. I think that they kind of were in the past. Now it's like everybody's up in your face. I moved into a new neighborhood, and the neighbor's like, "Hey, what church do you go to? I got a really nice church. You want to come to?" Like, who talks about that? That should be, it should be private. You know, that should be your own. It's nobody's business what church I go to. But it seems like all of a sudden religion and politics are topics that people bring up. To me, you know, I don't know. They were just taboo topics because it leads to arguments. I mean, that was always the way. I always thought about the taboo behind religion. You don't talk religion and politics at a dinner party because it's just going to lead to bad blood, and so you leave those topics out. But nowadays, I feel like everybody's got it on their sleeve. Their identity politic is right there for you. I'm a Christian nationalist. I voted for Trump. I'm I go to the Assembly of God. What church do you go to? Leave me alone, man. Fuck. No one cares. Christians will attack those who don't. Yeah, they will. Equal right for everyone and no special treatment to anyone. Yes. 403C. Thank you. Yes. Numbers getting lost in my head. You have to take church's word on how much they make. Don't trust them. No, they need to open their books up. They need to be audited like anybody would. Knowing what you know now, where would you begin studying Holy Bible? Where would I be? Like, where in the Bible? I don't know. I don't know if I would do anything differently and just read it from the beginning. If you can get your head around it, it's a dry read, a lot of the Old Testament. But yeah, if that's what you mean by that, I don't know. I don't know. I think that I would change the way that I would study the Bible. Just reading and make notes and write down what doesn't make sense, and you'll be an atheist in no time, man. I can believe it. I can believe you can believe me on that. You tell them a little punchy tonight, can't you? Sorry, thanks for the roses, buddy. That's not separate church and state. What's not? They can freely worship in this country, so why let them get free rent and control government decision? Well, that's the thing. If it's the Vatican is in absolute control of 40% of the world. They're starting to lose, though. They're starting to lose the influence because people have had it with that shit. Catholicism is dying slowly. They have to advertise. They put fucking TV commercials on it. People get people to come back. They still have way too much power and money. That's for goddamn sure. They can freely worship in this country, so why let them get free rent and control government decisions? Are you saying that they should be taxed? This is 0149333171. You saying that they should be taxed? They shouldn't have free rent? The problem is if you tax them, then they can endorse a political candidate and they can get involved in politics. Like I know they are already, but then they really can. So it's kind of a mixed bag. If you start taxing churches, you're going to have to allow their greater influence in the decision-making process as far as the government's concerned, when they can all just like openly go and put their lobby towards a candidate. So there are some reasons to say no, don't tax the churches. But if they're making money, in my view, we should just take it away from them. The sun cult is from the Vatican. Is a crazy bit of knowledge to obtain. I don't know what that is. I'll have to look. Yeah. Trump was the biggest liar. It's been proven statistically. He was the biggest liar out of all the liar politicians that we all have seen. We know the politics are a main factor for religion. How can we end it as a neutral convo? Yeah, K love you, baby. K love you bye says we know that politics are a main factor for religion. How can we end it as a neutral convo? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the answer is to that, but religion has become highly politicized, obviously, in the country. What do you think of the audits? What audits? Have a nice evening. You taking off? Later on, Bake. I'm going to scroll back to the beginning. What's up, Kubix? Our guy, man. Thanks for joining. God 23 CNK 333. Hello. Seems like Christians always recommend a starting point and jump back and forth. Blah blah blah. Reading 79 says, yeah. Well, they probably want you to start so that you see the shit first that they want you to see. Yeah, I would just go from the beginning, man. Sun cult worship the eagle, American eagle, America's eagle icon. Why? You have left wing and right wing. Oh, cool. Yes, it's a boring read. Just curious. No, I don't think so. But thanks for the follow, Carl Hartwig. Yes, Islam is younger than Christianity. That's a Frankenstein stolen from all the others. I'm going backwards through the comments now. Who is the Antichrist? I always thought it was probably Trump, because remember how, the Bible says that the Antichrist will come disguised as a man of God. Well, do we have anybody else in a position of huge power recently that was pretending to be godly when they weren't? It always blew me away that Christians didn't right away be like, I wonder if this guy, maybe he's not up to any good. He might actually be the beast spoken of, coming dressed as a man from God. History Nerd 71. Hello, how is it going? My uncle has that same train whistle. All right. So, how would you debate someone that is religious that wants harm, that doesn't believe in their own? How would you debate someone that is religious that wants harm, that doesn't believe in their own? What does that mean? I'm confused by the sentence. Religious that wants harm. Doesn't believe in their own religion? Do you think there will ever be a president that will have the balls to say there isn't a God? I don't know. Probably not in my lifetime, but I think we will. Yeah, sooner or later. The demographics are moving. They really are. The religious right is dying. Attendance is down. The younger generations don't give a shit about religion. So yeah, I think there will, and I think we've had a lot. I think in the past we had a lot of atheist presidents. Many of the early ones, I'm pretty sure, were not religious, if not outright atheists. It just wasn't a thing where you needed to pander, because everybody wasn't on TV 24/7 like they are. Trump, G.W. Bush, Cheney, Antichrist. Yeah. Old, W is starting to look like a wise old senior of the party now, compared to fucking Trump's lunacy. When you look at Bush talk, it's almost like he's a reasonable person. I hate him when he was in office. He was such a piece of shit and such a shitty president. And now you'd be like, yeah, all right, I'll take Bush, just as long as that fucking asshole Trump doesn't get back in. What the fuck? If God has a plan for me, how does free will exist? It doesn't. Free will doesn't exist, but not because of God. So the free will argument is bullshit. Religious people come up with a free will argument right away. That's like, I'll be throwing the train soon, because that's just tired. You should play Train Sim World 2. It's amazing and accurate simulator. Maybe I'll take a look at that. I don't have time. I wish I had time. I love video games, man. I really do. And there's just no time anymore to play. I would, if I didn't have anything to do, I'd sit down and play Grand Theft Auto all fucking night. But it just can't carve out the time in my day anymore for Grand Theft Auto, my friend. I sure wish I could. Do you think science will finally replace religion in the next 50 years? Boy, I hope so. And maybe we'll see it go faster, because like I said, the younger generations don't give a shit. They really don't. The millennials aren't religious, and Gen Z behind them is even going to be less religious. So we'll see. But 50 years, yeah, Bush does seem different now, right? I mean, history's always kinder to presidents after they leave office. It always is. And people kind of forget about the stupid shit they did. But he did some stupid shit, lying about weapons of mass destruction and creating a cabinet position for religion. I mean, and him wearing his born againism on his sleeve. Who gives a fuck, man? Jess is tired. Hi. Yes, I have a job. Thank you very much, Darkside. Otherwise, I would play video games all day. Ask a Christian which they believe in more, Jesus or gravity. Yeah, right. That's always a good one. The whole theory thing. God, am I sick of people who don't know what theory is? They're like, what's not a theory? That Jesus resurrected. That's fact. Somebody said that on the comments. I'm like, yeah, right. It's not a theory. It's not even the hypothesis. It's like religious fantasy. That's all it is. They were trying to say that it wasn't a theory because it was fact, but evolution never been proven. It's just a theory. God, are you people dumb? Science, not in the South. Yeah, right, man. The young people I know are so much more educated, well-rounded than I was when I was that age. That's good, man. I'm glad you know some people like that, and I'm not saying they're not out there, but I look at the school system and I don't know what they fucking learn. Around here these days, But again, you got the internet there. You know, if there's someone if they're a smart kid, if they're skeptical, if they're paying attention, the ability for them to be much smarter is absolutely out there. I don't think the public school is doing it though. He never could say anything about except that he's so great. Nothing else. Yeah. Evening, Nana. What's up, Nana in Virginia? I was born during W. Bush administration, so I only know of the cool guy. Yeah, man. You're young, man. History nerd. Opinion on the Satanic Temple. Yeah, I already talked about that. I like those guys. They have a good bit. They're atheists with a bit, and the bit works. What God do you like better in the Bible, of the God of the Old Testament or the God of the New Testament? I don't know. The God of the New Testament, I guess I got to go with. Because the God of the Old Testament's a fucking jealous asshole, man. Murderous. And that's more fun in a Pulp Fiction way, so I am tempted to say that, but that's not right. I mean, at least the New Testament God tries to be, is tried to be portrayed as a loving forgiver. I'm not sure he really is. Thoughts on us possibly living in a simulation? Yeah, if we are, it's a good one, and you may as well do the best you can and enjoy it, because there's nothing we're going to be able to do about it. But in order for it to be a simulation, we'd have to show that we'd have to be able to repeat such a heavy duty simulation. And how does people's, if we're all living in a simulation, how does people's consciousness come into play in that? Does a computer simulation make that up for everybody too? And that's tough. Kinder, gentler oppressor. Good one. Rescue Bill. Thanks for joining. Appreciate all of you for being here. I'm going to open up my seltzer because I'm already getting dry in the mouth. Salute to the free atheist. Freed atheist. Ronan7 joined. Thanks for joining, buddy. Sailboat Steve is here. Thanks for joining, man. Put any comments you got and questions in the question box. I'm going to open it up now. I think I saw these ones. Yeah, I saw these ones come by. But there is a question mark at the bottom in the dialogue box. If you put your question there, it'll stay there, and I can read it. I'm going solo tonight, and there's a couple people on YouTube, and I'm sorry I can't see the questions if you're writing. We do appreciate you being here on YouTube. And if you haven't joined us on YouTube, go to the bio on TikTok and hit the Instagram camera and pull it down and join us both on YouTube and Instagram. We really need to get to 1,000 followers on YouTube so we can go live with our mobile devices, and that'll increase our possibilities for having fun out there as soon as we can do that. History Nerd says, I first came out as atheist last year to my religious parents. It didn't go really well. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm happy for you that you had to come out. Are they're going to let you live with them still and whatnot, right? They're not disowning you. They're not kicking you out of the house, but that's tough. It's a tough situation to be in, especially when people won't accept it and are going to try to just like convince you and force you to go to church and shit. And it's like, you're old enough now to make up your mind on something like that, then they should leave you alone. That's my advice. Thanks for joining on YouTube. I saw that, Steve-O. Sailboat Steve, thanks for the roses, my friend. I love those roses. Scrubby Bear, what's up? My Crazy Cruise. Thanks for joining, people. Running on fumes I am tonight from my drive across the country Tuesday, and then flying back today. I'm like, I'm in a dream state, man. So help me out here. But I am alone because producer Jay's got some family stuff going on. His mom's not well, needs gallbladder surgery. Waiting for an infection to go down. She can get that. So thoughts go out to producer Jay. Hope everything turns out all right with his man. Tell the difference about an atheist and agnostic. An agnostic is just an atheist who's afraid of his mother-in-law. That's really the only difference. If you know that you don't believe, then you're an atheist. If you're not sure whether you want to believe in God or not, then you're an agnostic. And people always bring up the fact that, well, you don't know and you can't, you don't know for sure, so you're agnostic. And that, technically that might be true. I'm an agnostic atheist because I don't really know, and none of us can show proof that there is no God. So we have to allow for the possibility, even though it's like the remotest possibility and the most implausible possibility out there. So people will be like, well, you're an agnostic atheist. Well, then so are all theists. They're also agnostic because they're in the same boat. They can't prove that God exists. They don't know. They just believe. So they're also agnostics. So that the term agnostic, in fact, doesn't describe anybody, because it describes everybody. So I'm an atheist because I know that I do not believe in a God. So I call myself an atheist. If you don't know whether you believe or not, like Abraham Lincoln famously waffled back and forth. He had a hard time with dogma of any kind. He wasn't a Christian, but he couldn't be called an atheist because he said things like, I've been driven to my knees on more than one occasion by the simple fact that he didn't know where else to go. You know what I mean? So he was a guy who's like just wasn't sure to whether or not, but he rejected dogma. So if you're going to call yourself an agnostic, you have to really be like that, where you can't make up your mind whether to believe or not. It doesn't have anything to do with actual knowledge. I was agnostic 4 months ago, but I came to my senses. And what? Now you're a soldier of Christ. Is that what that means? Matthew 18:19-20. Surely there are a couple Christians here that want to end cancer. Probably. Do you believe in reincarnation? No. Lol, not much. I've been atheist 20 years. Mom tries to get me back. Yeah, my mom doesn't try to get me back really, but once in a while she'll throw in, like, just remember what you learned. She's trying to say, remember what we tried to indoctrinate you to. Because I was grateful. I didn't have a shitty religious upbringing. I had a nice time in church, and it was a part of my education. It was part of my learning. Thanks for the follow. I'm a window licker. Ew. Don't window lick. When I told my mom I'm an atheist, she asked if I was the next Boston Obama. Yeah, people are unclear on the concept, right? Did she think you suddenly became a bad person because you told her you were an atheist? Did she think your personality changed between the time that she thought you were a Christian and now you're an atheist? Yeah, people are pretty ignorant about that kind of crap. What about the unsure possible? What about the unsure of possible disinterested creator, agnostic? You mean like a deist? Like the deists, the deists believe that we had the clockmaker God, like who created the world and just moved on, and he's not interested in what goes on here. He doesn't care how we develop, and just moved on to the next project. Yeah, what would be the point? That's a good one, but it makes more sense philosophically because clearly there is no God who does interact. If God interacted, we would all know. If God gave a shit about the people here, there wouldn't be childhood cancer. There wouldn't be genocide. There wouldn't be the need for Black Lives Matter. There wouldn't be the need for an end to religious wars. And there wouldn't be Palestinian conflict. There wouldn't be any of that shit. We would all believe the same thing because a God could make his or her will manifestly known all at once in all languages. But that's somehow never happened, right? People are pretty ignorant in general. Yeah, they are. I mean, I've lived my life by that tenet. I'm a poker player, and I've long known that people will not look, pay attention, observe, or assume anything in general. They're just not fucking paying attention. They're in their own heads, and they're not observant, and they don't see the dynamic around them. And you can do things in plain sight pretty fucking easily because people just aren't watching. Do you believe in aliens? I believe that aliens exist on some other planet in this massive solar universe that we've been exposed to. There's like billions of stars, billions of galaxies. There has to be other planets that can support life out there. We just don't. They're not visiting us. We know that. There's no evidence that aliens have visited us, and all that shit is just conspiracy theory. But I do think life is out there in the galaxies. I think people are born with certain morals and ideals. Religion doesn't give them to us. I think people are born with a certain amount of empathy for other people, but I think most morals come from, society and what we're taught. You don't have much empathy when you're a kid for how other kids. We see kids torturing each other because they don't empathize, right? They don't understand that might be harmful to someone intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, or physically until they've gained that experience. So part of that is taught. But I do think we're born with a certain amount of love for our fellow creature. I just think that needs honed and it needs sharpened. And it does get sharpened through modern society and collective morality that our social systems have put together for us. It's called the criminal justice system. If you step out and break it, you're a sociopath and you go to jail. Imagine if the Library of Alexandria still existed in all its glorious knowledge. Yeah, it's fun to think about things like that. Hypatia, right? Or is that her name? Hypatia? What's your advice for kids that are closeted atheists and religious families? That's tough. I don't know. And that shit comes up all the time. because kids reach out to us all the time and they're like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And unfortunately, if you're living with your parents, you might have to follow their rules for a while. You know, you can, once you get to be 15 or 16, if you can talk legally about, you know, emancipation if it's horrible for you somehow, but you really got to have your ducks in a row if you're going to do that. A place to stay, you know, and a way to take care of yourself, and you need to go get a lawyer and look at that. But that's rare cases. Most kids aren't in a position to do that. And if your parents are really going to be shitty to you, then you might just have to pretend or deal with what they say and suffer through church, even though in your mind they're not going to be able to control your thoughts. So you can be an atheist in your mind. But you know, I would urge you to just to try to use a little bit of common sense, try to use reason, and always question their faith. Answer as they know they're not going to be able to answer about the contradictions in their faith, and sooner or later give up. All right, you know what? Never mind. You don't have to go to church because you're making too much sense and you're bringing their to the surface. But that's a tough road to hoe, kid. So I'm with you, man. And reach out anytime if you need help or advice. We'll do the best we can for you. Because you're not alone. There's a huge community of non-believers out here, and you don't have to feel like you're the only one in your town or the only one in your family. You might be the only one in your family, but there's almost certainly other kids like you with the same issue closer than you think there are. Can I explain what FFRF is, and is there a headquarters in every state? No, there's no headquarters in every state. FFRF is the Freedom from Religion Foundation. They file lawsuits to try to force churches to respect the Establishment Clause of separation of church and state. And when things like that are broken, when those laws are broken, they go and file a lawsuit, and sometimes they win and sometimes they lose. But they're the biggest and the best organization for doing this. There's other great atheist organizations. This one is streamlined to fighting violations of the Establishment Clause with lawsuits. So they have a team of constitutional lawyers in Madison, Wisconsin, where they're headquartered. There's not any headquarters in any states. There's only chapters, and not every state has a chapter, I'm sure. If you go to their website, you can see where the chapters are. And we run a chapter here in Wisconsin, and some states have multiple chapters, and some states have no chapters, but that's up to volunteers. The actual people who work for it are in Madison, Wisconsin, and you know, they're relatively small. There's only a handful of lawyers and assistants and paralegals working there. So they need everybody's support. They need your help. It's only $40 to join, $50 for the whole family. If you got a family of atheists, it's only $50 to get the whole family on the list. And believe me, your money goes to a really, really well-run outfit that is doing your work for you out there if you care about equal rights for secular people. I was lucky I was raised fairly non-theist, pagan of the earth and nature. Yeah, that's nice, and that's lucky for you. I know a few people like that, but it's few and far between. Most people were raised in some kind of religion. If you lived in a different country than the U.S., which would it be? Probably Holland or Germany or Spain or France or Denmark or Norway. Iceland. Iceland's fucking awesome. Czechia. Great countries. Yeah, and I would live in a country that actually having its infrastructure, actually cares about educating its people, and actually has all the freedoms that we talk about having here. It would be God is just a way to make people stay in order. That was fine 200 years ago. Yeah, you know, it is. I don't think we need that anymore. You also in Wisconsin, Jess? I think you said that before. You're from Wisconsin. Jess is tired. I'm tired. Woo. So is your best reason for joining FFRF? So what is your best reason for joining FFRF? Is that what you mean there? Crazy cat lady? Yeah, the best reason is to create solidarity amongst atheists. The more people that identify as atheists and vote together and push in the same direction, the sooner we're going to be done with Christian nationalism. They fight Christian nationalism. They fight the superiority complex of the evangelicals in this country. Did you sign up last week? Good, thank you. A lot of people did. The video made a big difference that Crazy Kelly suggested, and I saw a lot of people say they were going straight there and joining. So that makes me feel good. Maybe they'll notice and give me a finder's fee, right? No, I'm just teasing. From Canada, Iceland, yeah. I've been to Iceland and I fucking loved it, man. I would go and stay, even though they don't have a lot of sunlight there. Kind of goes up and then just like rolls along the horizon for a second in the winter and it goes down. But yeah, it's cool, man. They like heat all their roads with the volcanic, the thermal springs, right, that run through. The whole island is heated by volcanoes. Is what I'm trying to say, and they use that heat to run natural heat underneath the roads, so that like the snow and ice never sticks to the roads. They use it for like their hot water and shit in places. It's just fucking cool. Iceland's really cool. They charge me more when you mention me. Yeah, I'm not surprised, man. I'm not surprised. I'm a bit of an iconoclast, even for the organization that I joined and love so much. Thoughts on pantheism? Yeah, it's just as goofy as the rest of religions. With pantheism, everything contains a move, that even rocks out, are shaking because the molecules in them are vibrating. That to me is better evidence for pantheism than there is for the Abrahamic faiths. How would I explain the definition of evolution? The paleo guy, sounds like you might, if you're a paleo guy, you might be able to do that better than me. The definition of evolution. The definition is just of evolution is the explanation of the way that life, came to be and differentiated on the planet. That's the definition of evolution. I think you want to talk about like the actual process of evolution. Probably not the right guy to talk about that, but all life forms on Earth evolved from simpler life forms, and you can trace that back to the chemicals that started it all. So they pretty much know how that goes now. And we came out of the ocean, crawled out of the ocean, and grew feet one day, and then the next day we grew eyeballs, and the next day we grew legs, and we started running around the savannah and having sex and making monkeys. No, I don't. It's a huge, complicated issue that happened over billions and billions of years. But yeah, like I said, I'm not an evolution teacher, so I won't bore people with my fucking ramblings about that. It's easy enough to go check out some cool videos that'll explain evolution better than I could. You would force me to live in Aarhus. Yeah, well, I would definitely go there for sure. You know that, baby. They charged me more. Yeah, I saw that. Mama Bear definitely came out then. Came out when? What's the most non-religious community you've come across? I've come up through theater communities and landscape communities, landscapers and horticulturists, and happy, fun, gay people in theater, and so none of those people were terribly religious. Is that what you mean by like communities? Or you mean like a state or a town? I mean, I've been to Iceland, so I know right there. It's one of the most atheistic countries in the world. Arguably the most atheistic. But Czechoslovakia the Czech Republic likes to, excuse me, there's no Czechoslovakia anymore. The Czech Republic likes to lay claim to that. But here in the States, I mean, San Francisco, go to the Village in New York, scientific neighborhoods in Boston, not a lot of religious folks at MIT. I'm afraid to tell you. I know the trolls are out there aren't going to like that. Oh, lots of great scientists were religious. Yeah, because they fucking killed you that day. They had to say they were religious. Pantheism is that everything is just atoms and there is no God. Is that what pantheism is? We're all just reworked matter? Why the word theism and pantheism if there's no God? Yeah, location-wise, yeah. I mean, like I said, probably San Francisco and places like that. Unless, the places I've been in Europe, which I was not, I was an atheist when I was in Europe, but not an active atheist or an atheist activist. So it wouldn't have been on my radar to notice that Iceland is terribly atheistic. I just know that now that they are, and I've been there. So, that's probably one of the most atheistic places that I've been. But yeah, in America, and anywhere there's artist colonies, they'll have a little bit of woo. They might have that spiritual shit going on, but a lot of those people have given up giving up to God. Time to pass out. Thanks for sharing. See y'all soon. Thanks, Redding. Thanks for being here, buddy. Man, if you want good weather, man, if you want good weather, good people, good food, good weather, and a bunch of atheists, you have to come to PT. What's PT? Portland? Oh, what's PT, man? It's NFVS 79 asking. I like the theory of panspermia to explain neogenesis. Okay. Pantheism is a doctrine which identifies God with the universe or regards the universe as a manifestation of God. Okay, I'll buy that. I don't know enough about it to argue, but I think that's right. I mean, the fact that everything trembles with the vibrant life of the atoms that are in them. It lends a little bit of weight, I think, to that idea, as opposed to the idiocy of the guilt-driven and fear-based Abrahamic faiths, which have this unsustainable mythological arc, especially Christianity. When you think about all the fucking complicated statements of that dogma, it's just so dumb and obviously not true. That's what kills me about it. If it was like a real logical, easy religion to get behind, but you have to believe like a ton of the craziest shit to be a Christian. Wow, Heart 66. Interesting. That is not my understanding. Yeah, elongated muskrat 723 and Wildheart 666. There's a whistle for you. I didn't even notice that was you, my friend. Why we such a magnetic attraction from this? Oh, from the sea, from the ocean. Yeah, right. Kennedy made a famous quote of that about how we're all drawn to the ocean because it's where we came from. College-educated towns. That's exactly right. Iceland inbound. That's right, my friend. Elongated muskrat. I wasn't sure. That's Google's definition. Yeah, I think people have different theories on what pantheism really means. I think I've heard that argument before, and people sit there and argue about whether it is like it's everything. Everything is God is the universe and everything in it, or everything has like a wood nymph, a rock nymph. I feel like every fucking thing that we see has its own spirit in it. That's what I always used to think pantheism was. Hey, from Ohio, what's up? Lots of folks cannot share their thoughts, beliefs if they differ from the culture they live in. Yeah, it's horrible, man. We're living it here. Oh, Portugal. Yeah. All right, PT's Portugal. Thanks for clearing that up. Yeah, I would love to go to Portugal. I don't have a lot of experience with the language. I used to know a Brazilian who we would talk back and forth, and I would answer in Spanish, and she would answer me in Portuguese. Brazilian Portuguese, So I'll probably get back on it pretty fast. But of my Romance languages, Portuguese is the weakest. How do I feel about Catholics? It's a big question, man. It's one of those things that I take everybody at face value. But I will say that if a Catholic is out there still supporting the church, defending it with your words, supporting it with your attendance or your money, then you're fucking complicit in the crimes. You're complicit in child molestation by priests, and you're complicit in the cover-up of all of these bodies that they're finding behind the residential schools. If you're still actively supporting the Catholic Church, then you are guilty. You're an asshole, and you disgust me. That's how I feel about Catholics today. Lots of folks can share their thoughts. Is you one of those socialist dudes? No, I'm not a socialist. I'm not a socialist. Not at all. I think capitalism works pretty well when its systems, checks and balances are in order. I mean, it needs regulated, period, or it just gets out of control and it creates massive wealth inequality, which we're seeing today on a scale that nobody can even imagine. And it makes the greedy richer, and then all of a sudden there's a bubble that bursts every 20 years, and the whole thing comes crashing down, and we got to start over again. So, no, I think some good social programs, well thought out social programs mixed in with capitalism is probably the way to go. But I'm not a poli-sci guy, honestly. I want to be left alone. I'm a libertarian. If it doesn't hurt somebody, you should be able to do it, and we should have as little government involvement in our lives as possible. And then all Muslims are complicit with 9/11. No, not a single event, but all Muslims are complicit in terrorism in general if they don't come out against it. If you're one of those Muslims who's like, I don't, that's not me, I'm not a fundamental, but you don't speak out actively against the ones who do, you're part of the problem. You might not be a terrorist, but you're part of the fucking problem. And if you are giving money to a Catholic, see, I'm not sure that you give money to the mosque. And you might be wrong. Maybe you do. They pass a collection plate around at the mosque, and does that money then go to the organization that is promoting terrorist attacks? Does it? Because if you give your money to the Catholic Church, the money sure as fuck going to the higher organization that moves around pedophile priests and moves around or buries bodies behind it. There's no other way around that. All that money goes to the top like a big fucking pyramid scheme. So your analogy doesn't fucking quite work. Nice try though. The net might be the only place folks can get fined for similar beliefs. Places like this are great. Yeah, I mean, the net's doing more for atheism than anything else has, because kids can look up the truth about stuff, and you can find community. You can find other people like this who feel like you do. Yes, I would think so. How else would Muslims pay for the mosque? That's a mosque. Does the mosque send the money up to the fucking Pope in Mecca? The Muslim Pope in Mecca? See, this is what you're not getting. All of the dioceses in America and the world send their money up the ladder to the same organization at the top. And then that organization decides how to use the fucking money. And that money goes to moving priests around from one parish to the other, avoiding paying off politicians, doing what they have to avoid, filing for bankruptcy on the local level so they don't have to pay out millions of dollars to the victims, to the guys who are fucking covering it up. Yeah, not against Muslims as a group, but everybody in those religions, if you're not speaking up against the fascist and the fundamentalist and the extremist factions of your religion, then you are part of the problem. And when it comes to the Catholics, if you're even going and giving your money and speaking up against it, but still giving your money, you're part of the problem. I was just trying to use the same logic you use. Yeah, no, I'm not gunning for you. I'm just I don't think it's quite the same. But I do think it's incumbent on everybody in a religion to call out the bad apples in that religion. If evangelicals don't agree with Trump, but they sit on their hands about it, then they're complicit. If you're not actively calling for an end to the hate and the bigotry that goes on in Christian America, then you have nothing to say. I'm not that. Our church doesn't do that. All right, what are you doing to stop it? Yeah, Leech Lord, thank you anyway for bringing that up. I didn't mean to shit on your question. Then can the Catholics condemn the priest the same way? Can't they? I just stop going. Just stop supporting the church. When no one goes and no one gives any money, you'll watch them fucking shit a brick. My family used to be, but not anymore. Used to be what? How do you feel about European social democracy? I'd like to have socialized medicine in a country as rich as ours is. I don't see how that's a bad thing. I don't see why, Americans are so against certain socialist programs. It doesn't make you socialism unbridled if you have a few fucking social programs that are well thought through, well paid for by tax. We already have a ton of them. We're already a social democracy in America. We already have socialized schools. We already have, your garbage is collected by your local government and paid for through your taxes. There's all kinds of shit here that's already socialism. Americans are just too stupid to really understand that you can still be a free market capitalist economy with some social programs. It doesn't make you a communist fucking nation because we have free healthcare. Well, Obama tried, but then premium shot up for poor. Yeah, maybe that's your experience. What Obama did actually worked for me. I paid less than I was able for. So to generalize about that is wrong. It's too bad if you had a bad experience. But yeah, it actually worked for me, and I'm in that position. I don't make a ton of money. My business is too small to afford group healthcare, and that didn't used to be the way. And all of a sudden now small businesses can't afford to pay for group healthcare. And so people are on their own to pay for an insurance policy that no one can fucking afford. But the big corporations, they get the buying power. They can get a group policy from the insurance companies. No need for religion if people treated others how they would like to be treated. Golden rule, yay, number one. The golden rule. Yeah, no need for religion anyway. Both bad and good stays from that. People can still get it today. What's your thoughts on spirituality? Stabby McCroagface. Stabby McCroagface. McCroagface. Ask what's my thoughts on spirituality versus organized religion. And I think spirituality is too undefined. It's a vague term. I don't think it really describes anything. But anything's better than organized religion. So people like me who call themselves spiritual and aren't into organized religion, they're always cool people, and they're not trying to force it on the government, and they're not trying to force it down my kids' throat at school. So I like people who are spiritual better than I like organized religion. I just don't think that word spirituality really means anything. Now, what are we really talking about? People who think that crystals have magic in them, people who just, they want to believe in a God but not a religion, so they're spiritual, or there's people who think that meditation and reincarnation, they lean on that Buddhist side of spiritualism. But it needs to be better defined. I don't think it really describes anything. Religion needs to be necessary. What's that mean? You didn't mean to say that. Religion isn't all bad. Some people need spirituality to function. Yeah, no, that's fair. And again, I'm not trying to get adults to give up their faith system if they have one and it works for them. I'm trying to get them to keep it out of government, and I'm trying to get them to stop indoctrinating little kids and taking away their deductive reasoning abilities. If you want to believe that shit because you need the emotional crutch, then you're right. That's yourself. It's a human right. Again, like a lot of these things. As a society where less and less of those people exist because built their psyches, they've built their on actual knowledge and learning and science, and hopefully the need for that emotional crutch will lessen as we move forward as a society. Imagine what we could have gotten done already if there wasn't religion dragging us backwards. Imagine the technological advances we could make. Imagine the medicine we could invent if there wasn't people trying to block us from using stem cells because of religious ideas. It's so shitty to think about. Taller people sleep longer in bed. Yeah, they do. Hey, it's Mel. What's up, Mel? Funk Monk 06. My girl Mel. Check out Burning Eden podcast. I was a guest on a recent episode where we had a lot of giggling. There's a lot of silliness that goes on that podcast, but we need more of that silliness in lives. Needing spirituality to cope with the questions and problems of the world is weakness. Yeah, mental health gardening. For you to say that gives me hope, man, because I do think it's weakness, and I don't know how else to couch that. But again, it's your right to be weak in the mind if you want to. Yeah, don't put your kid in the public school. Yeah, they don't teach them shit. They indoctrinate them, from what I've seen, into religion. The Christian teachers try to teach it in the classroom. They become emboldened by the recent leadership. What I meant was religion used to be necessary, but we have advanced past it. Yeah, I'd like to think that's true. And I think that religion was a necessary part of our evolution. I don't think that was ever going to really be able to be avoided. But I think that time is gone. I think we know enough about the universe. We know enough about our bodies. We know enough about our minds that we can start bringing people up without steeping them in unsustainable faith systems, mythology that's absurd, intellectually absurd and embarrassing. Yeah, they don't learn anything in school. I'm totally with you. It baffles me that I can get arrested for a t-shirt saying something bad about religion, but they are what? Finish that thought, because you're not wrong, Jim Mack 82. Yeah, they should be teaching in a Christian school. Those people who do that, they should be teaching in a Christian school. But we've already had letters written from FFRF to the local school board because teachers try to teach it in the public school to fourth and fifth graders. We busted them out flat doing it, and they don't think that they're doing anything wrong. They think they're bringing their entire teaching package to the table when they do that. They're like, I can teach science, I can teach math, I can teach reading, writing, arithmetic, But what's wrong with also teaching morality through the eyes, through my faith system, which has worked so well for me? Well, it's unconstitutional. That's what's wrong with it. And when you do that, you're interfering with parents' rights to raise those kids the way they want to raise them. You're not in public school to convert kids to your faith system. And if your Christian kid was converted to Islam because there was an Islamic teacher doing the same thing, there would be all hell to pay, But Christian entitlement in this country makes it so that those teachers they're like, oh, well, what could be wrong with it? There's nothing wrong with God and Jesus. It's just good. What they don't see is that they're actively interfering with the Hmong family's right to raise their kid Hmong, or the Buddhist family's right to raise their kid Buddhist. You don't get to do that. When you send your kid to school, you have a right to expect that they're going to come home still a part of your family in the way your family wanted to raise them, which I hate. I hate that families get to raise their kids religious because they lie to their little kids, and you have indoctrinated kids and you can't get over it. But it's their right to do it, and I can't pretend that it's not. If you were an atheist and you sent your kid, and you were an atheist teacher, and a bunch of Christian kids came home and they weren't Christian anymore because the atheist teacher in 5th grade told them some things that resonated with them, that guy would get fucked. That teacher would get fucked right out of the school. And the Christian teacher gets away with it, right? That's just how it goes in a Christian majority society. A lot of liberal indoctrination in public schools too. Yeah, people are upset about that. Leach Lord leaning conservative on me, but I guess I'd need specific examples of how that was true. Things are getting more liberal, and teaching kids about the way the world is, and it's not going to go back from. That might not necessarily be liberal indoctrination. That just might be the way the earth is today. There was things that we got taught that my parents' generation wouldn't have liked, So I think it's important to teach kids as broad a range of knowledge that we can without indoctrinating them into anything, and then they'll be able to see that one religion isn't necessarily right just because your mom said so. Because look, I learned in 1st grade that there's religions virtually culture, and there always has been, and all of them claim to be right. Little kids get it; they get it right away. John, Luke, Paul, very Middle Eastern names. Yeah, well, those are translated. Biddy Buddha did a nice thing there. She must have come out of Judaism because she really knows a lot about Hebrew. She did a little video on that where, it goes through the names. These are names translated for us in English. The Greek names would have been different, and the names of the apostles, came from Aramaic, translated for us, just like Yahushua became Jesus, right? They teach you how to be liberal, then you get to the real world and learn how to be conservative. Okay. You did it twice. Conservative. He's trying to write conservative, and he tried to correct himself. It didn't come out right either way, my friend. My kid don't go to Christian class. Here, that is a choice, but you have it in school. My kid don't go to Christian class. You're typing food too fast, NFVS. Yeah, if they haven't, public school shouldn't have classes on Christianity. So if that's what you're talking about, that's an issue. I have no problem with world religion classes, and I think they should be taught to young kids too. But if somebody's just teaching Christianity as like an elective in a school, that's something that might need looked at. Yeah, I learned to be conservative and grew more liberal as I got older too. So I don't think that necessarily flies. Thanks for saying that. One scale of C, on a scale of SE. Have you seen the website that shows how much the Bible contradicts itself? No, but all you got to do is read it, man, to know that. As a psych nurse, I often see the fine line between religious and mentally unstable. I bet. Thanks, mental health gardening. You're a psych nurse. See, that lends some insight to your name there. But yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. You should tell us more about that. Being religious and being mentally unstable. As a psych nurse, she sees a fine line there. Elizabeth Grace, 1313, joined. Thank you for joining, Elizabeth Grace. Daya Haliidris. G-Tray, 27, joined. Thank you, my friend. Love everybody for coming out and joining on a Wednesday night. Stupino joined. Dialogue, but I'm going to go through here and see what I missed. What do you think happens after death? I think it's going to be just like before you were born. Oblivion, my friend. You're not going to remember it. You're not going to feel it. It's not going to be terrible for you. Hey there, Sarah Gallagher. What's up, Sarah? Patty McKenzie. What's up, Patty? It's Thursday morning. Where are you? It's Thursday morning. You're already where? Keeps the world. You in Australia? Summer Blossoms 1 joined. Plumber Wife 21 joined. Thanks for joining. Grandpa Wannabe joined. I'm a grandpa, actually, not a wannabe anymore. My grandson is almost a week old. A week old tomorrow, my little grandson. He's so cute. He's this little tiny peanut. Perfect little peanut of a dude. Yeah, first time grandpa. Actually a gramps now. You know, what you want to do the old man voice? It'll have some weight behind it because I got myself a grandson. I held out for a long time before getting grandkids. I see these people having grandkids by the time they're 42, 45. You got kids when you're 20 and your kids have kids when they're 20. Yeah, first grand. Thank you. Here, man, I made it into my mid-50s, late 50s before I actually became a grandfather. So I had kids late, and my kid, you know, she's 24. But I didn't have any kids till I was 33. I can say I have seen an increasing number of people turning to doctors instead of God for therapy. Good. That's where we should be. If you have the kind of mental health issues that make you want to believe religious fantasy, why not just go to a therapist and see if you can't figure it out? Yeah, you end up with much more sustainable solutions, even if you're not getting medicine, even if you're not getting pills, which we know a lot of mental illness requires medication, and we have good medication. We've invented good medication. God didn't give us that medication, did he? No, we invented good medication for identifiable mental health issues. So even if you're not getting some of that medicine, you might just get the answers you need from a therapist. And I'm not making that up. I've interviewed people who have told me that they came out of religion by having therapy. Not a huge surprise there. There's 1.8 million Muslims who would say the same to you. But yeah, of course there is. Did we get somebody on trolling? I'm 23 and planning on waiting until my 30s. I just want one kid at most. Yeah, I think that's smart. Don't wait too late into your 30s, but you know, your 20s, enjoy your 20s, man. You don't want to saddle yourself with a family. I understood that people starting families as soon as they get in their 20s, man. Go fucking see the world, man. Have some fun for a while. Unfortunately, unless you eventually do accept the Jesus, it will be painful after. Oh, that's where that came from? Yeah, no. Good. That's a cute story. It's a good story, bro. Well, since it's 2:30 here in Scotland, I'm going to head to bed. Yeah, do it, man. Thanks for joining us. Jimmy Mack in Scotland. You go to bed. Zozo Zebra. Zozobra 55. Thanks for joining. I'm not going to last a whole lot longer. It's already 9:19. We'll go for a little while, see if we get any interesting shits to talk about here. I am on YouTube. You know, I can't answer the comments. I'm sorry about that, but we are on YouTube, so find us there and subscribe. Ever thought to yourself, maybe Jesus was just the David Koresh of his time? Yeah, what, like holing up with women and shagging the women in your cult that you wanted to? I think he was gay, David Koresh. Honestly, I think Jesus was gay, and he didn't stockpile guns like David Koresh did. Shit might have gone better for Jesus in the end if he'd have stockpiled guns like Koresh was doing. David Koresh famously, the Waco Davidian, Branch Davidians, right, was the name of his cult, and he was a cult leader who ended up he was like stockpiling weapons in a compound in Waco, and the government finally had enough of that, and they went in and they blew his fucking place up and they burned it down. I think it was a mistake, right? I'm not sure they meant to burn it down, but they burned it the fuck down and killed a bunch of people. It was a big scandal for the government, man. But you see, you know, religion, yeah, freedom from religion, freedom of, you know, separation of church and state. When shit like this happens, the government will go right in and cross that line of separation of church and state. When the government feels threatened in some way, they'll go ahead and take care of that shit. But when kids are getting raped and people are getting buried in backyards of schools, then the government doesn't give a fuck. But if you got a bunch of guns stacked up in a compound in Waco and you're guy in there taking advantage of all the women in your group, to be like like an orgy cult leader style guy, even if it's all consensual. No, the government's got a problem with that. They're going to blow you up and burn you down. Have you considered the unlikelihood of people able to pull off a resurrection? Yeah, I have. It doesn't happen to people. We know that. Talk about science. We know that that people don't resurrect. So there's a big one. How do I feel about Biden? He's a schmoo. He's like a fucking bowl of bland oatmeal. It's at least he's a statesman. He doesn't try to embarrass himself with his words every fucking like the last guy did. He doesn't continually lie to his own constituents just to get them riled up and get your policies passed or your agenda passed. But I don't think he's any kind of fucking world beater. I don't think he's necessarily the right president for much longer. I think he was a calming influence. I think the media is wrong to give him a pass when they would have shoved it up Trump's ass. They need to be asking him hard questions, and they're not. So I'm not Johnny Biden, not at all. The second I opened this, it was you got a toot as soon as you open. What's up, Matt? Good to see you, buddy. I was wondering where you were tonight, my friend. What's up, Chichi Rodriguez? Republican Crusader. Hey, man. Thanks for joining. J. Doobie Wooby. Yes. Have you considered the unlikely people? Yes, I talked about that. By the way, there's proof of God's existence. Yeah. Good story, bro. Does praying help humans, like asking things from God? Praying does help the person who's praying. It makes you feel better. It makes you feel like you're doing something. And active praying activates parts of your brain that make you feel better. They know that. They can study that. So, yeah, but it doesn't actually help the people being prayed for. No, it's as useless as tits on a bull, as they like to say. I don't have enough faith to be an atheist. Yeah, Golden Dragon again with that one. I don't have enough faith to be an atheist. That's always they think they got you with that one. Like it takes faith to not believe somehow. Silliness. So I wasn't someone famous in my last life. I don't know. I don't think you had a last life, man. But maybe someday they'll prove that you did. If there's evidence comes around for re-erection. Re-erection, I just said. I'm so tired. Resurrection, reincarnation. If evidence for that shit comes around, I'll be the first guy in line to look at it. I saw an African pastor resurrect a guy in a video. Seemed legit. Yeah, Africans do some crazy shit, right? They put a voodoo spell on you that that will make your wife and her lover stick together, like cats or like dogs, where he can't retract his penis when he's done, and then they're stuck together and they get caught. Right, that happens. And I had a girl tell me that it's well known to happen in Africa, and it happens all the time, and people all know it. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, being an atheist requires zero faith and zero belief. That's all it means. It took Jesus 3 days to come back. He had resurrectile dysfunction. That's pretty good, man. I like that. Is science a religion? No, of course not. There's no dogma. It changes if the evidence comes, whereas religion doubles down if evidence comes that denies it. There's no deity. There's nobody at the top that we worship. No. People can do science religiously. They get up every day and they do it in terms of like a ritual. But no, of course, science is not a religion. It's silliness. I don't listen to libs. Do you believe margarine is good for you? No, man. I believe butter is good for you. Fuck margarine. Margarine's nasty. No real. Look it up and do. No, for real. Look it up and do your research. Yeah. You worship at the altar of science. Yeah. Where's that altar? I'd like to see that. Yeah, faith is the default position for those without sufficient evidence. That's right. And when you have faith and you try to like find the evidence and jam it in there, it just means that your faith isn't very strong. And you have an innate sense that this is bullshit. And so you go out looking for the proof. All these people that say that there's proof of God and that science proves that Christianity is true, whatever the fuck they are, those are all people with weak faith because their own belief system is not good enough for them to just believe it and just have faith. They're out there looking for justification and bending the evidence to fit their preconceived conclusion. Science said margarine was good for you for 30 years. Yeah, and then when it found out that it wasn't, it changed, right? That's the thing about science. And science didn't say margarine was good for you. It's pretty much the margarine sellers that said it was good for you, you know. But the medical thinking was that margarine was a better alternative, a lower cholesterol alternative to butter, you know. And when we find out these things aren't true, then it changes. People don't still science doesn't still worship margarine, even though we know margarine is not good for you. It changes. That's the difference between science and religion. Sarah Gallagher was my great aunt. Grandpa Wannabe. Sarah Gallagher? Should I know who that is? I'm sorry. Tell us who that is. Well, it's going to be sad for you guys when you're at the gates of heaven. God bless. Yeah, okay. Good story, man. Dark matter is faith-based. No. Dark matter is a hypothesis right now that's being studied. It's not faith-based. It's one idea that's used to explain what we can't explain, and now they will test it and experiment with it. Yeah, medical thinking is science-based, but it changes when they find out. You get it? Thanks for the follow. Twice as good. Faithfulness to believe all sorts of things. It isn't a reliable method for learning the truth. Yeah, I'll agree with that. Do I have a favorite atheist? My favorite atheist was Hitchens. Sadly, he's dead. But I like Gervais and Bill Maher and people like that. But I don't know. I have a favorite atheist. If I had a favorite atheist, they'd be my favorite because of other parts about them, I think. Science keeps moving the goalpost. Yeah, science can accept when it's wrong. Scientists love being wrong. They love being wrong. That it gives them a chance to figure it out again. Listen to the Burning Eden podcast. Yeah, Mel was already on, and so I pumped it once. But yeah, go to Burning Eden podcast. These guys got a fun little podcast they're trying to scrape up some viewers or some listeners. And I was a guest on a recent episode, so go look for that. Nathan Manis, thanks for joining. On a scale of southeast, follow the host. Thanks for the follow. Appreciate that. Evelyn Barnes, thanks for joining. I'm scrolling back here to see if I missed any. Questions as I'm scrolling back. Yeah, if you got anything else, put them up there. Otherwise, I'm going to get blasting off pretty soon because my eyes are flagging. Troy Zombie joined. Thanks, man. Check us out on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter. I don't use the Facebook and Twitter much anymore. Anybody use that shit anymore? Twitter, I get some news off of Twitter. But since the TikTok blew up, it's where I'm at, man. It's where my peeps are at. Trump 2024. Yay! Good luck with that, buddy. Fucking lunatic. Lavina Mirage. What do you do if you're an atheist but you don't want to be an atheist? Well, then believe something else. You can't make yourself believe what you can't believe. So I don't know what do you want to be if you don't want to be an atheist but you are. You want to believe in something but you can't. And then what's the issue? Join a religion if you don't want to be an atheist. More like Republican keyboard fiend. I get canceled on Twitter. Cool Breeze joined. Thanks for joining. DS Moto 124. Juby. Who eats Jujubes? There's an old-fashioned candy. Jarrett Pierce joined. Benji W. What's up, Ben W? Adam Mercer joined. Thanks everybody for coming on board. I was looking at good evening, my friend Betty Florence, Nature Gal, OG Ethio. What's up? Hello, OG Ethio. I lost a filling to a Jujube once. I don't know what that's like. I never had a filling, my friend. Never had a cavity in my life. But I don't like those candies like that, Jujubes that are just like sticking in your teeth so bad that you can't get them out. Man, I don't believe we are here just by chance. We are more than that, but we have all this questions. Yeah, I'm sorry that you don't believe we're here just by chance. It's pretty obvious that that's what happened. You guys like high inflation, like the gas prices. Yeah, here's the Republicans going to blame all that on the current administration. Man, hi from Belfast. Blame OPEC. Yeah, blame OPEC. Um, yeah, queer as fuck from Belfast. What's up, my friend? What's up in Northern Ireland? You guys got bodies buried behind schools in Northern Ireland too? Because people hit me up with Ireland. They're like, what about the babies buried in Ireland? And it's no less disturbing. People think that we forgot about that. The babies in the septic tank in Ireland. In Scotland, they're finding them too. It's nasty. How was my journey out of Christianity? It was easy. My journey was easy out of Christianity. I just started thinking for myself. By the time I got 16 or 17, I'm like, hey, who wants to be a part of this really joy kill style religion? I was just like, I want women and drugs and rock and roll, and the church doesn't provide any of that. Plus, the answers just weren't there. None of it made sense. Contradictions, the hate. We're sending somebody to hell who was always a good person just because they don't believe in Jesus. It's just also stupid. When I got to be that age, it just sort of faded away over the next 4 or 5 years, and I was happy. Like I said, I was happy for my religious upbringing. It was all right. It was a decent education. I went to a decent church that didn't preach biblical literalism, and I'm pretty sure there was an atheist at the back of every service I was ever at. Jim Whitty, what's up? Thanks for joining. I'm looking at the questions here again quick. Looks like there's nothing new on there yet. If you have a question and I didn't get to it, stick it in the dialogue box down at the bottom with a question mark, and I will remember to look at it. Yeah, I'm questioning deconstructing. I'm considering on leaving. Leaving what? The church? You still in church, OG Ethio? Why do you think mobsters, gangsters were very Catholic and consistently went to church? Indoctrination. I mean, are we talking about the mob in America, which is historically Italian, and most of the people are going to be Catholic? And again, it's the Catholic breeds, all Christianity really does breeds that feeling that all you have to do is repent and you're okay. But Catholicism really brings people up to live that way. Like, men are going to cheat, and we can't help it because we're men. So we're going to cheat. Just go to confession and say your confession, say your Hail Marys, and believe Jesus will forgive you, and you're going to heaven. So any kind of horrible behavior is actually okay as long as you stay in the church. You can get forgiven and still go to heaven. So there's all that goes into why Christianity has so much cred with the mob and with, prisons are full of fucking crosses, right? How many lovers of Jesus are in prison as compared to atheists, right? Prison is full of religion and full of cross tattoos and full, because all these cons are like, yeah, I can't help being the way that I can be, but I can still believe in Jesus and get forgiven and go to heaven. So I think there's that. And plus, it's just like, if you're, you can be the worst mobster in the world, most heartless killer mobster in the world, but your mom is still going to expect that you go to church, and she's going to whoop your ass if you don't go to church. So there's all this familial guilt and indoctrination and all this shit that goes along with it. So it's not surprising to me that shit is powerful. I was Catholic, and I confirm that's how they think. Yeah, fuck yeah, it is. Is polytheism better than monotheism, or vice versa? Yeah, I think polytheism is, just in terms of interesting storytelling and a religion that you can identify with. I think polytheism is, because you end up with like a pantheon of gods who are much like people, and they have their own little soap operas going on, and they're fallible, and they're not all powerful, and it's more of a reflection of human beings. Polytheism is. Do you think Jesus really thought he was divine when he was alive? No, I don't think he did. I don't think that he was anything like anything that's in the Bible. I think if he lived, he was just an ascetic, wandering preacher in charge of another little cult of Judaism, and his story got historicized and mythicized out of all proportion, and ended up coattailing on the Roman Empire and getting dragged all the way across Europe with in the New World with the conquistadors. So I don't think Jesus thought he was divine when he was alive. No. Hi there, astonishing Toto. What's up? One of the many reasons you left. What is? Oops. So God can forgive murder, but can't forgive disbelief. Yeah, God's going to send you to hell for using the brains that He gave you. Really, that's what you're trying to tell an atheist when you tell him he's going to hell for not believing. Monotheism is the ultimate expression of authoritarianism. Yeah, it's the ultimate authority. I think that's the reason why monotheism took over. It was easier for governments to control under the guise of one God who wants one thing than to keep putting up with, like I said, the wacky antics of a group of gods who can't even keep their own house in order and fighting with each other. And then you get the cult of Apollo fighting with the cult of Zeus, fighting with the cult of Dionysus, fighting with the cult of Diana, whatever the fuck it was. Easier to control people under monotheism. Yeah, neither are better. In the end, neither are better because you're still believing in something without insufficient evidence. So thank you on a scale of SE for answering that question appropriately. Neither of them are better. I just think polytheism is slightly cooler. You think your content got filtered? Why? Not appearing in this film. Says, I think my content got filtered. A sin is a sin is so simple. Comparing, say, lying to murder and such. Yeah, I mean, it's a simpler message, and I think the dumbed down Christianity relies on that. The new evangelicalism and the people who just go to Catholic Church and just want to hear, just believe this and you'll be okay. But yes, sin is a sin is so simple compared to the nuances of lying, compared to the nuance of murder. Monotheism has no female god, therefore polytheism is better. Yeah, it's too bad. I mean, monotheism as we know it has been drummed out of the feminine divine has been drummed out of monotheism for the the Abrahamic faiths that we all came up with, and that's done on purpose. Lilith is taken out. The Gospel of Mary in the Bible. It's just that's all on purpose, just to keep women down and to keep men in charge of shit. No doubt about it. I think Jesus had good advice for the time, just not magical. Yeah, he probably was, preaching a good form of Judaism and trying to get back to the basics and trying to actually minister to the people instead of amassing wealth and being bigoted against people who don't live the way you think they should be living. Thanks for the mics, Matt. Love you, buddy. Christianity is such a cult. When I was in YWAM, the crazy shit I did and the guilt they promoted. What's YWAM? Fox Greed 1 says, Christianity is such a cult. When I was in YWAM. What's YWAM? Do you agree with Nietzsche that after God is dead, this leads to nihilism? No, I don't think so. No, because too many people are just too interested in life. There's too many people out there who are in love with making their own purpose, experience, exploration, knowledge, entertainment, creating. There's too many people. The human spirit wants to create. It wants to it wants to assign a purpose to its life, even though there is no inherent purpose, none that comes from God. So no, I don't agree with Nietzsche. I think nihilism are just, those are sad existentialists, like Matt in the Hat likes to say. And there's always going to be a few people who are just kind of, got that mindset. But I think in general, no, I think human beings create their own purpose for life. So you won't get nihilism when God dies. Do you think religious leaders like Muhammad knew their bullshit, or did they genuinely believe their religion? Hard to say that about Muhammad. I don't know. I think the cynical me wants to say that no, he probably didn't believe it. But there's a lot of mental illness out there. There's a lot of people who believe things that they shouldn't because they're not getting the help that they need. So I think a lot of religious leaders don't believe it. A lot of today's religious leaders are just in it for the money. People like Osteen, televangelists, and certain TikTok ministers, they're just out there trying to get famous, trying to build up money. And this is the way they know they can do it, because people will, if I was cynical enough, I could do it, but I can't take advantage of people like that and start a fucking church and start a ministry and people giving you money so you can wear fancy suits and sit there and constantly lie to people and give people false hope and come up with these stagey shows that are meant to impress somehow. I couldn't do it. So I definitely think some religious leaders are absolutely just in it for that don't believe it, But I do think there's some that sincerely believe it too. Everybody's different. Eye of the Tiger, John. What's up? One Eye of the Tiger. I hate this app. My comment keeps getting filtered out. How's it get filtered? I don't really get that. Because it's organizations that make kids into missionaries. Yeah, missionary work is the new colonialism, isn't it? I mean, what's your view on Gnosticism? Can you believe in that and still be in the realm of reality? I don't know. We're talking about Matrix-style Gnosticism, where you think there's a truth behind the simulation. We're talking Gnosticism. I mean, Gnosticism is a big subject. We're talking the classic Gnostics from Jesus' day, or just the idea that that there is a Gnostic truth behind what we can actually see. I think you could be involved in reality and still think that there's a Gnostic truth that's hidden from us. It's a matter of compartmentalizing, my friend. When some atheists are more moral and Christ-like than some Christians, yeah, I mean, all the atheists I know are more moral and more Christian than 90% of the Christians I know. I do know some good Christians who really try. I do. What do I think about the Pope? He's a disingenuous piece of shit. He's just up there living his life, thanking God that he got elected Pope so he could fucking be at the top of it. And he pays lip service to our gay friends, but he's not going to change church doctrine to let gay folks get married, is he? He's not apologizing for the bodies in Canada and everywhere else. He's not doing enough to bring the church into the 21st century. So to me, he's little better than the rest of the popes. You post it as a question and it's just not coming up. You don't even see it yourself. That's weird. I'm sorry about that. I'm wishing I knew about that. What's the best type of religion? Abrahamic. The best kind of religion is the kind of religion that stays the fuck out of government. Oh yeah, 100%. We told these people are basically saviors. We told that we were basically saviors to these people. Who is my favorite book? Jude Law. HBO joke there. Why does the Vatican sip gold and riches from Jews and other colonized countries? What do you think? Why do you think they sit on it? Because they're fucking Christian white supremacist fucks, man. Dirty bastards. None of it gets taxed, right? They get their own country, so they don't have to get prosecuted there if they don't want somebody prosecuted. Anthropic principle completely debunks atheism. What? Oh, Angel Ruzak is back. There's nothing to debunk about atheism. There's no belief to debunk. So that's simple itself. The only thing that you could do to debunk atheism is come with actual evidence for God. Show us your God. Atheist Jesus is here. What's up, dude? Atheist Jesus, way smarter than me, man. Tell this asshole. Tell him why anthropic principle does not. But no, he doesn't. There's just another guy trying to prove his religion because his faith isn't good enough for him. His faith isn't strong enough for him. He's got to try to prove it with other shit. That's all that says to me. It says to me your faith is weak. What is that? Also, what's your PFP? Go, dude. Debate him on it. Debate him on it. Do you ever think about how Henry VIII just decided to start a new sect one day? Yeah, he didn't really care about religion. He just wanted control over his country. And in the day, the Catholic Pope influenced the kings of Europe, and they all had to kiss his ass and to keep peace and to keep that big business on your side. And Henry VIII had enough. He just wanted to control his own country without the Pope being able to tell him what to do or what not to do. And he wanted the money that the Catholic Church was sitting on, so he fucking went and took it, which is what we should do today. And he made his own religion, which is basically just Catholicism, with him as the head of it. By the time he done like making the new religion, there was nothing new about it. People were like really trying to take advantage. His advisors were trying to take advantage and like they like we can like establish an actual religion here with different tenets, different ideas than Catholicism. And he ended up like not really doing that. He just, you know, the theology was lost. He just wanted to be in control of his own country. You know, and in the end, you know, if he could have stayed a good Catholic and still been in charge of his country, he would have just done that. The only reason we got a good church was so that, you know, all of those things could fit together for him. But, you know, he didn't really want to divulge or divulge. Yeah, man, I'm losing it today. He didn't want to break away from Catholic dogma. He just wanted to break away from the Pope. Anthropic principle shows intelligent design. Oh my God. Angel, you should call into Atheist Experience and run that argument to me Sunday. Yeah, do it, man. And good job being on Atheist Experience with our guy Matt, Atheist Jesus. That's pretty impressive, dude. Where do you go from? Where did you go from Christian to full blown atheist, or did we? No, I made personally. I made quick stops at like Unitarianism, spiritualism, and then I was done. Hi from Alabama. What's up, Alabama? Tell me the odds of there not being. Tell me the odds of there not being an intelligent designer. The odds are great that there is no intelligent designer because there's no evidence for an intelligent designer. It's the least plausible solution to the problem. The least plausible, period. Were you agnostic? No, I never called myself agnostic. Matilda Dahl. Matilda Alt. My favorite atheist. There's a 2 dot for you, baby. Really show how religion is used for control. Yeah, it really does. I'm trying to watch Atheist Jesus take on Angel Ruzak. We have one universe to observe. How can you possibly compare universe A that is designed to universe B, which isn't? Have you ever tried witchcraft? No, I've never tried witchcraft, man. I don't put any stock into the supernatural, so no. Do you think that people believe in religion so they can feel important? I think they believe in religion so they can fit in. A lot of them. I think. You're willing to debate openly with someone who can explain anthropic principle better than I. You brought it up, buddy. Are you asking Atheist Jesus? Yeah, do that. Call into Atheist Experience and bring that shit by there. Go look at Axioms on Trial. I debate PhD professors. Bang. And what caused it? Oh my God. Hi from Manitoulin Island, Ontario. Manitoulin Island in Ontario. What's up? It's amazing how atheists have to speak about Christians all day. Yeah, it is amazing that we have to, because Christians won't let go of politics in this country, and we're sick of it. If atheists weren't the most hated minority in society, we wouldn't have to talk about Christians all day. It's amazing how Black Lives Matter people talk about white supremacy all day. It's amazing how feminists talk about male chauvinism all day. It's amazing how LGBTQ people talk about being put down by straight people all day. Of course we fucking talk about it all day. We are being oppressed every day by people who want to spin this as a Christian country, when we all know goddamn good and well that it was never a Christian country. It was simply a country full of fucking Christians. Those Christians have gone from frontiersmen and decent people to evangelical wackos trying to tell other people how to live and trying to enforce their religious ideals on the law of the land. That's why we talk about it every day. Yeah, before the Big Bang is incoherent. How can you have time before time? Yeah, there isn't before time. It's like looking for what's north of north. It's a nonsensical argument. Poor Angel Ruzak, he doesn't want to let it go. He really thinks that he can prove God. Yeah, see, that's the difference. Atheist Jesus is all over it. Theism just makes up shit without any evidence. My question is, why the condescending attitude when I come in here? For which there is no evidence. I'm not sure how to not be condescending towards that. If anyone has advice for me, then you can try. But I'm just not built that way. I admire people like I believe. We're like, no, religious people aren't really stupid. They just, some of the things they think are less than smart. I admire the politician and people who can do that. But when I see stupid, I call it stupid. Do you think much of believing in God comes from being in terrible situations like foxholes? I think that a lot of people believe in God because their life has led them to be desperate in certain ways. Yeah, I think that the God belief is that emotional crutch that comes from the need, to feel better about yourself and your mind. But I don't think foxholes is. I don't think so, because I think that people in that kind of imminent danger are looking for ways out of the danger. Somebody else was saying they were a nurse and they see people on their deathbeds. Nobody's calling out to God. Nobody's calling out to God on their deathbed. It doesn't really happen. Your mind isn't there. So when you're in a foxhole, very few people are crouched in the foxhole praying to God. They really are. They're looking for a real life situation, a real life answer to get out of their real life situation. And so I deny that there are any gods or any atheists who would give up their atheism just because they were in a foxhole. But basically, I'm an archeist. However you make you're making a knowledge claim about intelligent design. Yeah, it's so dumb, right? It's like saying, prove I don't have an invisible elf in my garage. See, people pull this shit all the time. Foxholes, I mean, like they'll make a deal with God if he gets them out of there and they make it. I mean, I guess it happens. It seems like a movie thing to me. I just don't. I've met too many atheists who were in foxholes who were like, no, we were in the foxhole and we were still atheists. So if you're talking about literal foxholes, no, I don't buy that. But people who have the foxholes of their lives, I mean, if you're just in a desperate situation and you might turn to Christianity for that without having been indoctrinated as a youth. But to me, it's indoctrination that starts all that shit. And you don't change just because someone's lobbing a bomb at you. I was in Nam in '68, reinforced my atheism. Yeah, I don't know how you could go through war without having your atheism reinforced. No God would let that happen. No God would let that happen. What am I? I'm as white as it gets, man. I'm a wasp, I'm a white Anglo-Saxon atheist these days, but my background in Dutch and English. Yes, you can trace my ancestors back to the time when white met bread, my friend. Going to war, lose my faith. Yeah, I can totally see how that would happen. Don't know how it could be any other way, personally. What's up? It's the inability to have an open mind that seems to make. Okay, whatever that means. For real. Poor Angel. You Scottish and Irish? All right. Yeah, people ask if I'm Irish because my last name is Moore, but it really was anglicized from the German MOHR. Did you like the 50s? Yeah, not that old, pal. I do miss the 70s, though, every fucking day. Why do atheists talk bad about Christians and silence on Satanism? What's wrong with you? Satanists don't believe in Satan. The big groups is the Church of Satan and the Satanic Temple. They don't think that Satan is real. Now, there are Satanists who think that Satan is real, but again, they're not the ones out there causing harm on society. Don't you get it? It's Christians who are trying to take over the country. We're trying to take over the government with their fucking laws, trying to legislate women's health care with their fucking religion. It's Christians who are too big for their britches in America. It's Christians who are looking for the law to back up their right to discriminate against you because you're gay. We're looking for the law to back up their reason for not covering women's health care in their health packages because their owners have firmly held religious beliefs. Christianity sucks. so bad in America. That's why we talk about it, and we don't talk about Satanism because they're on our side. Don't you get it? What kind of a question even is that, man? Ridiculous. We love you. Thanks, Red Drabina. I love you so much. Sorry, I was talking about the 1950s, not the 1850s. Yeah, I don't remember either. I thought I actually grew up in the 70s thinking that the 50s were in black and white because all the TV for my dad's time, my dad grew up in the 50s, and everything was, all the pictures were black and white, and the TV was black and white, and the movies were black and white. I thought that life was in black and white. And I knew it wasn't. Logically, I knew it wasn't, but I couldn't picture my dad growing up without picturing him. Yeah, that's the thing. Why do people insist on placing God in their gap of knowledge? Just because we don't know what happened at the singularity, just because we don't understand, just because there was no time and space before that, doesn't mean that a God did it. That's just laziness. That's just the God of the gaps. It's so fucking lazy. Not appearing in his films. Don't buy his. He's here a lot. I mean, I appreciate you trying, buddy, but really, Angel, you're just you're not going to convince anybody. You're just someone who's looking to justify their preconceived conclusion that they were indoctrinated into by using scientific method and by twisting facts to fit it. It doesn't make any sense at all. If there was evidence that led us to that, that would be different. But you're doing the opposite. It's just, honestly, it's embarrassing. Is deism better than theism? Well, deism is theism. Theism is just a belief in a God, right? Deists believed in a God. They just believed in a God that doesn't have anything to do with the earth. They made it and moved on. So, is it better? I did a video on this where I think it's philosophically more defensible because at least it acknowledges the obvious, that God has no interaction with the earth and doesn't care what happens to the people on it or anything else on it. But it's, in terms of evidence, there's no more evidence for a deist God than there is for any other theist God. So, no, I don't think it's better. What is your favorite dessert? Oh, I like some key lime pie. I like cheesecake a lot, man. Those are probably my two go-to favorites. I like cherry pie a lot. Viagra or Cialis? I would have no idea, honestly. And it's like, funny question, right? Hey, Viagra or Cialis for you, Dad. Yeah, my shit lights up hard, dude. I don't need fucking either of those things yet. What about dinosaurs? What about them? Love dinosaurs like every kid. Grew up loving dinosaurs. Hello from Illinois. Glad I scrolled your way. Love listening and talking about the Lord. Thank you for joining us from Illinois, my friend. Deism to me is just a profession that they can't admit there's no good reason to believe that. It's like, just let it go, right? It's like Unitarianism. It's like, just let it go. You've gotten this far, just let it go. I think you're right, Atheist Jesus. And thanks for checking in, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, I agree. It's like a last ditch effort. It's like, all right. There's still a creator out there. They've moved on. Moved on to a different universe, different project. Viagra or Cialis again, man. Yeah, I've never tried either one, man. I know some people who party with Viagra, right? Don't need it, but they party with it. I don't sell the whistles. I should. I do have an extra one though. Maybe I'll do a contest where I give it away, autographed, right? No, I just grabbed one on Amazon when I thought of this bit, and it's taken off so well that now it's like a brand, right? For me, the hat and the whistle are a brand. Can't open that. I've heard someone say their Christian school said dinosaurs aren't real ones. Yeah, it's scary. If your parents have sent you to Christian school, I apologize, man. Don't believe a fucking thing you learn there. It's all lies. They're all trying to lie to you. I guess maybe they teach you how to read and write, but the science and crap, it's pretty scary. It's pretty scary. There's a lot of them around too. And I worry that some kids get sent there just because the public schools are so terrible and they're so scared of whatever gang violence or just getting bullied that parents send them to the private school when the parents don't really have an axe to grind in the fight, and then all of a sudden their kid is an evangelical when they might have just been lapsed Christians, who had a God belief, but didn't really pay a lot of attention to it or enforce it on their kids. And now all of a sudden, just because they thought their kid could get a better education, they've got a fucking radical fundamentalist evangelical fuckwit for a kid when, that kid was probably on his way to being a good lapsed Christian who didn't really give a shit about Jesus or church if they'd have just had a decent public school to send them to. So I do worry that happens, and the voucher program is an embarrassment. We've got Republicans pushing the voucher program all over the country under the guise of it's supposedly making more opportunities for inner city kids whose school is shitty, and all it does is take more funds away from those schools, so those schools can't get better, and it gives people, taxpayers, money to send their kids to a school where they're going to get taught intelligent design, the stupidest thing in the world. It's non-facts, disinformation. That's where we're at in the country. That's why we do what we do. That's why I do what I do. I'm sick to death misinforming kids about the nature of their existence and lying to them about the nature of their existence. If you want to do that in your home and in your church, I can't stop you. But keep it the fuck out of our schools. If you're an atheist and people keep saying God bless when you say something bad happens to you, what do you do? I don't know. I let that one roll off my back. You know what I mean? I'm not one to start arguments with people just because they said God bless. If I know they're doing it to get me because they know I'm an atheist, then we might have something to talk about. But people in general who say that, I'm like, thank you. That's all right. Some teach that dinosaur bones were placed in the ground by Satan. Yeah, that's really a thing, right? I saw that on The Simpsons years ago and thought it was a joke, but I think people really do say that that God put those there to fool us, or that atheism, or that the devil, Satan put the dinosaur bones in the ground to fool us. Fucking stupid. And others think that the humans live side by side with them. They want Genesis to be true so bad that they're trying to fit the evidence into their preconceived conclusion. And I don't know why it threatens people. If the Bible is half metaphor and half allegory, how does that threaten your faith? Why do people need to see Genesis as the literal truth? It's so fucking simple-minded and stupid. You're actually stupider than the people who wrote it. If you're reading Genesis literally, you are less intelligent than the beautiful people who wrote the story, which is a metaphor for love and God's love for us and God's power and the creative process. It's all, they knew it wasn't true when they wrote it, and that's what makes it magical. That's what makes the myth have any power, the power to communicate an idea. If you take away that, you're taking away all the goodness that myth had by making pretend that it was a historical fact. And it's embarrassing. It's an intellectual embarrassment, and people who do it make me sick. They make me sick to be an American still. Don't have to try too hard to trust me. So you don't think all kids rich or poor deserve a good life? What's that mean? My wife's family believes they were buried there by Satan. They do? That's awesome. Flat Earth, probably on The Simpsons. Probably The Simpsons have touched on everything now. They've been going on for what, 35 years or something. Yeah, they're drinking a Kool-Aid. No one stands up to him. Who? What's the need for the insult? Is that for me? Did I insult somebody? Yeah, I insult people all the time. Christians come on the show trying to talk shit. Yeah, that's what I got. Demos got to go. What's demos? I send my kids to Catholic school. The public ones in the area are garbage in my area. No fight. Yeah, the Catholic schools are actually pretty decent. They don't force creationism down your throat. Catholic Church believes in evolution. So most Catholic schools have let the religion go. It's just lip service, and they're just trying to make money off of people who don't want their kids to go to the shitty public school. I don't actually have much of a problem with Catholic schools. You always got shushed when you asked about dinosaurs in the Christian schools. That's funny. Yeah, if you go to like a Lutheran school that's teaching creation, those are the shitty Christian schools. I don't even think I know Jewish people who send their kids to the Catholic school because they know they get a better education. That's all it's about. My college was Catholic. It was pretty great. No pushing of faith. I was nervous before starting. Yeah, no, I mean, they mostly let go of that kind of shit. How do you explain demonic possessions of humans? Just curious. No, they're not real. They're people with psychological illness, or they're acting and pretending, or they've just got schizophrenic. Man, there's people with real mental issues, and they need to get help, and they should get help. Woolly mammoths around in time of pyramids. I think it's quite sad. Futurama had a Civil War episode. Yeah, I think so. Not doing a very good job of showing it. Bible is made up BS. Yeah, you guys are on it. You people are on it, man. That's totally true. I am going to get off though. It's already 10:07. Oh my God. I was going to try to cut it short a little bit early, and didn't make that. So thanks everybody for being here. I got to go. I got to go eat and get some shut eye tonight. But yeah, fuck the Lutheran schools. Fuck the Christian schools. Do everything you can to fight the voucher program. Stop listening to people who try to justify their faith in God through science. It doesn't work. You just sound stupid. You don't have any real faith if you need to do that, and you're a bad religious person. My neighbor believes she was communicated with prophets, and believes, yeah, I'm sure she is schizophrenic. That's what happens. Anyway, thanks everybody. Good night. I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to take off. And I hope I answered questions. If I missed them, come back next time. We'll be here Sunday at 11:30 Eastern Time, 10:30 Central for our next live. You all have a good night. All right. Bye now.